the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show that you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show. This is episode 71. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, March 31st, 2024. A great day to do a podcast about video games and much more. So that's what I'm here to do. So welcome to the show today. Hope you're doing great out there in the world. Hope everything's been going your way, because that's exactly how the world works. Everything's just so positive all the time, so amazing, and hope things are just going your way completely. But welcome to the show. This is going to be great. I guarantee it. So that's one good thing. So let's get down to some business early. If you'd like to help me out more than just listening, please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review. Turn on notifications and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. There are clips of the show on YouTube and TikTok. And twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow and gain access to exclusive content such as the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. And I'll tell you more about this at the end. And there is also a potential teaser for a Dep Lewis Freestyle Show coming up this week. So get ready for it. Hold on to your britches out there in the world. And for the show today, we're going to have our three sections as always. First section will be what video games I've been playing. So I'm going to tell you about all the cool games that I'm into recently and trying to complete and things like that. The second section will be what I've been seeing across the video game world. So video game news, releases, things of that nature. And today I just have a bunch of video game releases I want to talk about. And then the final section of the show, the Miscellaneous Talk section, is where I can talk about anything outside the video game world. And I normally like to get into the worldwide world of sports, and that will be the case for today. So we're going to go over all the sports that I'm interested in at the end of the show here in the Miscellaneous Talk section. So that's the plan for the Dep Lewis Show. No surprises besides hopefully some good information for your ears. And we are going to get into it. So let's get into it. So, welcome. It's been 2 weeks since I've recorded. I've been playing some games. The main game I've been playing has been Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm still making progress here. It's oftentimes difficult for me to make progress in video games. I like to play a game and then quit and get stuck at some point and never complete it. So I'm trying to change those ways a little bit. And here in the year of the RPG on Dep Lewis Show, I'm really, really liking Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm hoping I can complete this game and then move on to Rebirth, because I've been hearing wonderful things about Rebirth, all sorts of great compliments about how it's a better version of a Remake. And if you like Remake, you're going to love Rebirth. So that's really, really exciting because this game has really hooked me. I am in chapter 11, but I think since last time I talked, I was on chapter 8. So I've completed chapter 9. You get to meet Corneo, and he is very creepio. That was a very Corneo joke right there. But Corneo was a pretty good character. I'm not going to say cool, but he was a great character up there in that castle. We had all those missions on trying to get into the castle and getting Aerith accepted. And then you finally get Cloud in there as well. And Cloud has just a really, really great scene in that game. One of the coolest scenes, probably the most memorable in the game. And this will be really, really spoiler light, but Cloud's doing a dance number. He's dressed up in a dress and just very, very fun. So they infiltrated and they get into Corneo's bedroom and learn of his master plan, but then he drops them down into the sewers. So into the sewers you go. You're fighting all sorts of sewer creatures down there. They have guys that look like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And Cloud, I chose, once you fall down into the sewer, the game makes you choose. You're with Aerith and Tifa, and it makes you choose which character you're going to go over to. So I chose Tifa. It was still a very difficult decision because they're both very cool characters, but I think I would have to give Tifa the nod if I had to pick which one was my bigger homegirl. I don't know, like my bigger friend or a better friend. So I don't know. It was a tough decision. I don't know how it's going to play out later in the game, but there haven't been too many moments like that in the game. I think there's some background decisions going on and things that you choose to do, but not too many of them. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and very, very fun. So let's see. What else did I write about this? I chose Tifa over Aerith, but I actually think I like fighting with Aerith better. I've been mainly sticking to Cloud in combat and not switching. I've been playing this game on pretty simple dummy mode, and I've mainly been playing as Cloud and just controlling him, but sometimes the game will force you to play other characters, and I enjoy using Aerith because of her magic spells. Tifa is more of a fighter, more combat oriented, so Aerith suits my style that I like to play in games more so. So Aerith is really cool in that regard, but Tifa's just an overall great character and cool, and she's just really, really cool is definitely the word for Tifa. So I'm on chapter 11 now. I'm fighting the ghosts. I think it's a pretty cool area that you're seeing like this ghost graffiti all over the map, and they're telling you where to go, and they're playing pranks on you and things like that. So it's a really cool section, and this game has some this game does have some good variety in the environments. I think a lot of the jokes on it where you're just going down tunnels and corridors and hallways and in like giant machine areas, but there are a lot of areas like that, but there's also some different things sprinkled in here that really give it some character. And I think in Rebirth that you're seeing a whole lot more of that character fleshed out and environmental diversity. But in this game, I think there's definitely enough of it, and I'm enjoying the kind of linear nature of this game, as I think it's really been suiting my style of gaming. So I think it's really been helping me make some progress in this. So I'm really appreciating that from it. And the game is pretty explicit on where to go for the most part with the environmental cues. So it'll show you like lights, and it generally just faces you. Like if you're coming out of a cutscene, it'll kind of face your character in the direction you're wanting to go. So I really enjoy that, as sometimes I'm a little bit of a noob in knowing where to go in video games and not just the smartest with like puzzles and things like that. So this game is pretty straightforward. So that's been really, really helpful to me. And the map is helpful too. And yeah, I was talking about fighting the ghost. I had to fight a huge ghoul. It was a pretty nice boss battle. And I'm playing on easy classic mode. So it made me realize while playing this ghoul, it was a long battle. I took some damage, but playing on classic and easy, where it's kind of doing auto combat for you and you're having to input your spells, it's really teaching you how to play the game, I think, if you were going to play on the higher level. So I think that's been pretty interesting. It hasn't really tempted me too much to change the difficulty, but it's been a really great tutorial on how the combat works. And you learn that you need to block a whole lot more and be really patient. And those are definitely not features I have in my repertoire normally for playing video games. But this game it's a cool lesson in that, especially if you wanted to play this game again, or potentially going into Rebirth if I wanted to change it. But I really am enjoying this combat style and being along for the ride a little more so than having to be frustrated with combat and really trying to figure that out, where I might not push through it just by my nature. But this game's been really, really cool. I wrote Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa are my favorite trio. They're definitely my favorite trio to roll around with in this game. I've already been saying that the Tifa and Aerith choice is very hard because they're both really great characters, but I think just in the role-playing thing, I've been picking Tifa over Aerith because she's just known Cloud since they were little and they're longtime friends, and they definitely are, they definitely are really, really close. And then Aerith is making a great new impression, so it's just been cool seeing the characters and the other characters in this game, like Barrett and Sephiroth and some other ones. Chadley. I've been loving doing the Chadley research. I think that's a really cool thing, and something I'd like to highlight is using the assess material. I think that's really, really fun. I think it's mainly the first thing I do whenever I come across a new enemy is I try to gain enough attack to perform the ability to assess, and it teaches you about the enemy you're fighting and shows you their weaknesses and things like that. And then once you come upon that type of enemy again, you can just click the middle button on the controller and it'll bring up the character screen, and you can get a reminder on what's going to destroy the enemy in the most efficient manner. So this game is epic. It's awesome. It's fun. It's cool. The music's wonderful. The characters are great. The combat is excellent, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm really hoping I can keep making some progress in this game and then keep talking about it on this show. And the year of the RPG is really going off strong with Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game from 2019 or 2020. So I'm going to be playing, hopefully, Rebirth in a couple weeks or so, and then really, really loving my RPG life. So Year of the RPG, shout out to you. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is a wonderful game. And I'm playing this game and thinking about it as one of my favorite games ever. And I think that's a little bit of a hyperbole or just prisoner of the moment kind of thing. But this game really is, impressing me a whole lot. I'm having a whole lot of fun with it. And I'm not going to say it's eye-opening, but it's really, really, really cool. And Year of the RPG just starting so strong. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's what I want to say about it this week. And I'll be talking about it more next week as well. And the only other game I've really been playing, and I don't even have too much to say about it, is Rocket League. So I've been playing some here and there. It's been a great game to just get some multiplayer fun in. The matches are 5 minutes. It's a great game to listen to a podcast like the Dep Lewis Show and play some Rocket League, or have some sports on the side, or listen to some music. So it's just a really great avenue for that. It's like I said, I like the quick matches. I like the Rocket League that you have to be really, really focused on it during the whole thing. So you can't really take your eyes off the Rocket League, or you're going to be getting smoked and getting scored on, and your teammates are going to be really grumpy and crumped and angry at you. So Rocket League is a great video game for just a break from everything. So it's just a quick little, 5-minute aside, great reprieve from, normal life. So Rocket League is extra fun. So go play some Rocket League. And I really do think that's been the only game I've played. I purchased a new game that I'm going to talk about in the midsection. I don't feel like I've played enough of it to talk about it, and I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, so we'll talk about that in the middle section, but I played a little bit of that game that is a mystery right now. I don't think I've played any Mario Kart recently, and there's been another game in the midsection I played a little bit, just trying out, so nothing too serious. I've really been mainly playing Final Fantasy and some Rocket League have been the main two things, so I think that's going to continue for some weeks here, as I've been trying to focus my video game efforts, and I'll definitely keep you up to date here in the first section of the Dep Lewis Show week to week. So let's see here. What else do I have to say? It's the year of the RPG. Just to go over my plans, I hope to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake to move on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then I have a line item to play Yakuza Like a Dragon into Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'd like to complete Super Mario RPG, which I am stuck in that game right now, and then move on to Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake. And then Baldur's Gate 3, if it goes cross-play, I'd like to play co-op playthrough with the Great Sanfi. So those are my year of the RPG plans, and I'm just going to keep saying those week to week and make sure that I am still excited for and in line and still focusing on these. And I can say that's true even after a 2-week break. I am loving the year of the RPG plan. So year of the RPG, you're a great year. It's a great year going on. So that's going to wrap up the first section of the show. We're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear some break music, and we're going to come back for the midsection of the show, where I tell you about all the video game news and happenings and releases and things going on that I find are interesting. So the main thing in the midsection today is going to be a bunch of video game releases. There's been a bunch of things coming out, so I'm going to tell you about those, and that is the main focus. So please go take a break, go reheat your coffee, go put some laundry in, go take an allergy pill with all these allergies going on around the world. Just go do something that you need to do, and then come back in just a flash and listen to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 71. This is where I tell you about all the things going on around the video game world. And the main thing I want to tell you about this week are some video game releases. So trying to keep you up to date out there on the world with what's going on. Maybe you've heard about some of these, maybe you haven't. And I've actually played a couple of these, just poking around with them, so I at least have a little bit to tell you about them. So let's get into it. So the first game that has been released is MLB The Show 2024, or MLB The Show 24. This released March 19th, 2024 for $69.99 USDs. This is out on PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. And it's also on Game Pass. So that's actually how I played this game. I have a Game Pass subscription going on right now till about July. So I've been able to take advantage of some Game Pass games. So that is one of the cool highlights. This game's been on Game Pass for a couple years in a row now, and that trend is continuing. This game has been developed by San Diego Studio and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment and the MLB. So in this game, you can swing for the fences, experience game-deciding moments, become a legend, and live out your baseball dreams. Set out on the road to baseball greatness. Whatever it is you want to achieve, MLB The Show 24 has got you covered. So like the release of Madden, like the release of 2K, the release of MLB The Show marks the beginning of the baseball season. So it started on the 19th, or released on the 19th in baseball. It's had the Soul Series, so there was 2 games that I think they were on the 22nd, but the full season started on the 28th. So it's like a week before the actual MLB season started. So just a great time of the year. One of the most wonderful times of the year in my mind, and I love some baseball. So MLB The Show is the video game for baseball lovers. I don't play this game too much throughout the year really anymore. I sometimes will have a little streak where I play as like player locked as Ronald Acuna, and I bat and play the outfield, and it's like a good podcast game in that way. and it's good for also getting clips of the podcast. So I talk a lot about sports on this show, and it's a good way to get some gameplay footage to have clips for. So it's been really good for me for that over the last couple of years. And MLB The Show is something back in the day I used to purchase almost every year if I had a PlayStation. So I'm just a big fan of this game, a little bit spoiled now with it being on Game Pass, and just want to let you know that the MLB The Show 24 is released right now, and the baseball season is going on right now too. So we're going to get into the baseball season on the final section of this show. So all sorts of teasers going on. But MLB The Show 24 is out now. Go check it out. All right, the next game I want to tell you about is something I've actually purchased, and I played a little bit of, but I am still playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, so this game is just entered into the backlog, but it seems very cool, and that's Dragon's Dogma 2. This game released March 22nd, 2024. It's $69.99 US. It's published by Capcom, and the back of the box talk on this one is set forth on your grand adventure, Arisen. And Dragon's Dogma is a single-player, narrative-driven action RPG series that challenges the players to choose their own experience from the appearance of their Arisen, their vocation, their party, how to approach different situations, and more. Now, in this long-awaited sequel, the deep, explorable fantasy world of Dragon's Dogma 2 awaits. And it awaits you, and it awaits me. And they say on your journey, you'll be joined by pawns, mysterious, otherworldly beings, in an adventure so unique you will feel as if accompanied by other players while on your own adventure. And that is a little bit true. All of these elements are elevated further through physics, technology, artificial intelligence, AI, and the latest graphics to create a truly immersive fantasy world. So I think they're not lying about some of these things. It really does seem like a very immersive world. It has a great sense of scale and place. And when you're in the world, it's like, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's like you can't really believe. It's like kind of like, it really does remind you of playing like Morrowind back in the day. And I'm saying that as a huge Morrowind or like a Oblivion fan, it really has a feel like that. And having the pawns walk around with you, it does make you feel like you have some other players in your game, and they're not really bothering you. They're just there to assist and help, but you always have people rolling with you on your journey. So I think that's a pretty fun thing and makes some of the big fights a little bit less scary and things like that. This is a single player game only, so it's not designed to have other players in the game. So I think that's a pretty cool way to make it feel like you have some backup with you, and it's in a natural way, and you can hire different pawns, and they have different abilities and powers that they can do, and they cost different amounts and things like that. So it's a cool system in the game. And then the character creator is very cool. I think the story stuff going on is interesting, but then just the world and the walking around and the sense of freedom and things like that, I think are some of the coolest things in this game. And it really does feel like kind of a grand adventure, a grand open world. And I think one of the coolest ways to play this game would be just to kind of have no bearings and just kind of wander around and that sort of thing. And I don't know if I'm best suited to play that style of game, but I'm definitely going to give it a try. This game is a little bit of a surprise to me about how cool it is. I know Dragon's Dogma 1 was a little bit of a cult classic, but definitely has a lot of respect across like the video game world. But Dragon's Dogma 2 is seeming really, really cool. And I'm going to be playing some more of it at some point. So glad to talk about this. There's plenty of footage out there on the internet. I've heard mainly just positive things about this game. So if you're interested in that, it definitely has Elden Ring vibes. It definitely has Elder Scrolls vibes. It definitely has maybe even Hogwarts Legacy vibes a little bit, or like Monster Hunter. I'm trying to think of other comparisons to it, but open world, magic, swords, different things you can do. You can make different choices. You don't have to, it's not linear. All sorts of great stuff in this game. So it seems very cool. The physics stuff does seem cool. You're fighting giant beasts in certain scenarios, and you can jump on their back, and it's just really, really cool. It's a great, really, really interesting game. So Dragon's Dogma 2, go check it out. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to talk about some more game releases that have been out. I don't think I've played any of these other games that have come out. So the first two I've dabbled in, poked around with, and can possibly play some more. And then the rest of these are things I may or may not check out. So the first one is Rise of the Ronin. This released on March 22nd, 2024 for $69.99 US. And in this game, this is a PlayStation 5 game. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you can play some Rise of the Ronin right now. Forge your fate in this epic new samurai action adventure. Embark on an epic journey across war-torn 19th century Japan in this combat-focused open-world action RPG from Team Ninja, the great Team Ninja. I'm a pretty big fan of them. The veteran studio behind Neo and Ninja Gaiden. And Ninja Gaiden is a really, really cool game. It was something, I think the game on the 360 was one of the games where the first one I played, and it just seemed so cool to be playing Ninja Gaiden and a Team Ninja game. And they had this reputation for being so brutally hard, and that came along with it, like a pretty cool persona to it. So I remember just thinking that was so cool. I don't know if I'm fully equipped to like beat this style of game, but I bashed my head at it for a good while and had some fun with it. And I think maybe that is the ceiling for me with some of these style of games, but you never know. I could possibly get into them. But Rise of the Ronin, let's see. It's in Japan, 1863. After 3 centuries of the Tokugawa shogunate's reign, the black ships of the West descend upon the nation's borders, and the country falls into a state of turmoil. Amidst the chaos of war, disease, and political unrest, a nameless warrior forges their own path, holding the very fate of Japan in their hands. So all the trappings of this game, the art style, the setting all seem very, very cool. It just seems like it has some brutal combat, and I think those are the things I've heard about this game, that it is kind of difficult. I think I've heard a little bit of hit or miss kind of things from people liking this, but I've heard some pretty positive things, heard some mediocre things, and I've heard a little bit of, maybe not my cup of tea. I don't think I've heard anything really too terrible about this, but it has been something that I want to watch some more of, something I could be interested in just based on it just seems like it has a good vibe and a good look to it, and it seems like a cool world to walk around in and play as the nameless warrior as you're forging your own path. But Rise of the Ronin is out now on PlayStation 5. All right, so the next game I want to talk about, released on March 2nd, 2024, that is Princess Peach Showtime. So this game is $59.99 USDs, and there is a demo available. I'd like to advise you here on the Dep Lewis Show to go play the demo if you have any inclination to want to buy this game. I would say play the demo, because the demo really unsold me on this game, and I would just say based on the difficulty and the frame rate. So this game definitely seems skewed to a younger audience, a little more simplistic, and the frame rate is actually not looking too good, which is surprising. So there's some places in the demo that the game does look nice, but for the most part, the game's pretty framey, and it's a little bit, just stands out with some of the great games on Nintendo Switch. You would think later in the life cycle we'd be seeing the quality and the use of the hardware be something that you would be questioning less. But in this game, my thoughts on this are, this game is skewed to a younger audience, and maybe they didn't want to spend the budget on making sure the game was running like technically, like in a technically elite way, where they traded that concession for the younger audience who might not care. I think that's maybe valid, and I don't know how well this game will sell. I think it'll sell. I think this is more of a have this on the shelf, it looks cool. Younger kids like Princess Peach and see it and want to buy it, and it's a safe game you can buy somebody young, but I think that's really about it. So, a lot of times with these platformers, though, we're getting some difficult levels or a little bit of a mishmash of serving both audiences, like the hardcore and the casual, but this one really seems skewed more towards casual, and then even like a casual, like young audience. So a little bit of different thing. There's a million games out there, and if this suits your need, then that's a great thing. So the back of the box talk on this is help Peach save the Sparkle Theater from the Wicked Grape and the Sour Bunch, who have set the stage for the ultimate tragedy. Joined by Stella, the theater's guardian, Peach is ready to save the day. So in a lot of Mario games, you got to have a sidekick, or Zelda games, got to have a sidekick. And in this case, it's the theater guardian, Stella. So that's pretty cool. I do like to always see those kind of things. And power up with the transformations and use show-stopping abilities to call curtains on this tragedy. What transformations are hiding just behind the curtain? So these are like akin to the Mario power-ups. In this game, you're getting different transformations, and it puts Peach in a different costume or outfit, and she has some different abilities. So that's a pretty cool thing as well. And I think the levels are based around, like, you'll be sword fighting Peach, and you'll go into a level and do sword fighting things, and then I don't even know. There was a snowboarding Peach, then you'd be on a snowboarding level, just things like that. It's not as much, I don't think, of going to the level and having the different power-ups available to you. I think it's more specific to the power-up. So Princess Peach Showtime is available right now. Okay, so this podcast has been off for 2 weeks and been going over some games that have come out, and this next one is one of the more recent games that's been released, and that is South Park Snow Day. So this released March 26, 2024 for PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. And this game is $29.99 USDs. So that was surprising to me when I looked this up. I expected it to be full price. And then even thinking about it now, I shouldn't probably have expected full price, but I probably would have guessed $39.99 or $49.99. So interesting to see it's $29.99. I don't know if that speaks to the amount of content or the quality, but just interesting and could be a nice video game deal, actually. So who knows? Could be a great value. So this is a South Park Snow Day is an action-adventure game developed by Question, LCC, and published by THQ Nordic in association. Association. I don't know why that word's tripping me up today. With South Park Studios. From South Park Digital Studios, the studio that brought you South Park The Stick of Truth, South Park The Fractured Butthole, and South Park Phone Destroyer, comes the next chapter in the journey of the new kid. So in this game, you are unknown character, new kid. And you can play with up to 3 friends, use matchmaking, or solo the game with ally bots and battle through the snow-piled town of South Park, engaged in a frenetic, action-packed combat against warring factions and an all-new story where you make the rules. Equip unique weapons and deploy devastating, upgradable special abilities on a new adventure to save the world and enjoy a day without school. It's a snow day, dude, so I think that's a pretty good premise. Everybody loves a snow day. It's like a fabled thing from your childhood, is having a snow day and not having to go to school, and then being able to go out and frolic around in the snow and associate with an association. There we go. Association with South Park Studios. Just practicing. This podcast is helping me get better out here. So this is a snow day. These South Park games I really enjoyed the first game, The Stick of Truth. I don't think I played too much of The Fractured Butthole, but I enjoyed that name of that game, and I think they do a really cool thing here with these games. And if you're interested, or a South Park fan, or if you just want a new game, I really like the price tag on this. South Park Snow Day is assumedly a great time. I think this game is probably pretty funny, probably has some good combat, probably has some cool character moments, has the great South Park art style. So unless they're just really having some bad mechanics or things like that in this game, I really can't imagine it being too bad. And if you have a couple friends that want to play it, I think that could be cool too. So South Park Snow Day is out right now. All right, let's talk about one more game that's out available right now that you can go purchase, and something I think I want to purchase, or at least play the demo of. So there is a demo available for this game, and this game is called Pepper Grinder. So this game released on March 28th, 2024 for Steam and Nintendo Switch. It's $14.99 US, and there is a demo available. So I'm really loving the recent trend of having demos available for games, and just really seeing that continue. The demo train is not stopping. So Pepper Grinder is an action-adventure game developed by indie developer, I don't know how to say this, AHRECH. It's 2 separate words, so AHR space ECH. I think they're headquartered in Oregon, and this game is published by Devolver Digital. So the basis of this game is to dig, explore, and grind. And then the back of the box talk is Pepper Grinder is an action-packed pirate adventure starring the titular. That's a word that comes up across this podcast from time to time, and it never ceases to confuse me. The titular. It's not the titular, it's the titular. The titular, that's just a weird word. Starring the title character Pepper, a seafaring soul with a passion for prospecting, and Grinder, her superpowered drilling device. Shipwrecked and robbed of her treasure, Pepper must spin up her trusty sidearm to reclaim what the mischievous Gnarling stole. Armed with Grinder, Pepper burrows through the terrain and water, controls machines, and pulverizes all enemies, blocking the way towards recovering her missing fortune with interest. So Pepper is really coming for the cash. She's trying to get the interest too. So Pepper's trying to get what's owed to her. This game seems really interesting and cool. I've heard some really great hype on Twitter about this. When it first got announced, the screen showing the game, showing the grinding mechanic or the drilling mechanic seemed really, really enticing and like it would be fun. And it seems like that is the case. So please go check out some footage of this game. I think the drilling, it reminds me of some like Mario Galaxy or some type of Mario 3D, or maybe even some of the 2D like drilling mechanics. So it's letting you bypass some things on the screen and drill through and get to different areas. So it'd be like a Splunky dream. And this game is definitely interesting. It's definitely seeming like one of those great indie hits that a lot of people are going to be loving at the end of the year. So it's something I need to at least try. And I'm going to plan to download that demo on my Switch probably today. It's probably good advice. So Pepper Grinder out right now. Very interesting name. Wouldn't really allude to anything in what the game is. So just go check it out. I think it could be something you're interested in, especially it's just seeming like one of those games like Splunky or Binding of Isaac or Celeste or Super Meat Boy. Games in that type of category that are in that $14.99 price range, indie developed, and have like really addicting gameplay. So that is my view on this game, not having played it yet, but having seen some things and heard some things. So that's what I'm seeing and hearing on the Pepper Grinder. So go check it out. The last game I want to tell you about is something that got a demo released recently, so that's why I want to tell you about that. And it's a demo that I have in my mind, and it's a good reminder right now of something I want to play. So that is the demo for Sandland. And that game releases on April 25th, 2024. It's developed by ILCA, so Ilka, and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. So I don't know if it's Ilka or ILCA, but at least I am trying to shout them out on the show. So this video game is based on Sandland. Wow, can you believe that? A Japanese manga series created by Akira Toriyama in 2000. So rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. He passed away recently. But this video game is based on the manga, I'm not going to say titular, but it's titled Sandland. So there's a demo available now for this. This game does have an amazing looking art style. If you're looking at this game, it's going to be something you want to try most likely. And then to tell you about what the game is, it's an action RPG. Players will find a nostalgic and heartwarming world created by Akira Toriyama, where you will become the main character, Beelzebub. So an amazing name right there, Beelzebub. Beelzebub has a cool style to him too. You're going to probably immediately be fond of that. Learn how to control his powers and lead your company of heroic misfits, exploring the legendary world of Sandland. Beware of the many dangers that populate it between bandits, fierce wildlife, and the royal army. Reaching the spring won't be easy. Use your tact and imagination to develop tanks and other vehicles that will help you navigate this vast land using a wide array of part combinations. So maybe something similar to Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. But I think the art style and the visuals of this game are selling it pretty hard. And then if the gameplay can actually be fun too, I think this game can be a pretty big hit. And Sandland is something you should check out. And especially with the passing of Akira Toriyama, I think it's a great time to support this and at least check it out. And if it's a great quality product, then I think you should support the hell out of it. So Sandland, go play the demo. And I will possibly be talking about that on a future Dep Lewis show, because I want to play that demo too. So that's going to wrap up the midsection of the show this week, mainly just talking about video game releases. This year doesn't really have too many huge AAA or big calendar moments for releases, but we've been having a ton of video game releases this year. It seems like a whole lot of quality stuff out, and it's only the third month of the year, almost getting into the fourth month. So I don't think anyone can complain about the video games that are out right now. And if you don't have anything to play, I don't think you're looking hard enough. So in this section, we talked about MLB The Show 24, Dragon's Dogma 2, Rise of the Ronin, Princess Peach Showtime, South Park Snow Day, Pepper Grinder, and Sandland. So that's going to wrap up this midsection. We're going to take another quick break. You're going to hear some lovely music from friend of the show, Volness. Please go check out soundcloud.com/Volness and for some great music and for this great break music in just a few. And then we're going to come back to the miscellaneous talk section where we're going to get into the wide world of sports. So you don't want to miss it. So come back after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 71. This is the miscellaneous talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So this is going to be a quick hitter today. I just want to get into the wide world of sports, talk about all my favorite teams, and just give you an update of what's going on with them and my thoughts on those situations. So the official NFL team of the show, the Carolina Panthers, are a little bit in my doghouse right now, even though I like dogs a lot. So being in a doghouse isn't a terrible thing, but Panthers, I'm just not getting on the hype train too much for right now, but they have made a positive move that I am happy about, so I'm going to shout that out. They signed Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to rock number 7, and they signed him on a 2-year deal, I believe. Pretty good value. Paid him some money, but nothing too crazy, and an exciting signing. So I like seeing that. It's very exciting. Give the fans something to latch on to, besides just kind of doing. Most of their signings recently have just been trying to be smart spending, and not as exciting or splashy signings. But Shaq Thompson was talking earlier in the week about changing his number back to 54, so that was a nice little nod, I guess, or a little sign that Clowney was coming to town, and he was going to let Clowney have 7 again. So pretty cool of Shaq to do that as well, and a little bit of could have, if you looked into it and somehow knew, you could have been seeing that clue, but I definitely wasn't noticing it. I was on Twitter telling Shaq that I think he should stay number 7, but I think it's a classy move and a cool move to to do that, and he just changed recently to 7. So just that's some good positive stuff for the Panthers. So just want to say that, and nothing too much else going on with the Panthers. It's the off season, getting ready for the draft. The Panthers don't have too high of a pick, so I'm going to just try to get off the negative train and just get ready for the football season a little bit. But there's not too much to talk about with the Panthers. There's not too much to talk about with the Charlotte Hornets. That's a secondary team of the show. They've shut down the season pretty much. We're not going to see any more LaMelo for the year. They're not making the playoffs, so they are just positioning for a draft pick, and I think that's pretty good. They've had a great success with Brandon Miller this season. With drafting him, I just don't think, I don't think they're going to be reaching any heights with LaMelo not playing, and they are in a little bit of limbo, but they've made some moves this year that I think, you'd hope next year they're going to be a little more competitive. So we will see in the Charlotte Hornets. But the official NBA team of the show, my favorite NBA team, is the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks have been fighting hard recently. So they're currently in the 10th slot for the East. I don't know if they can make any moves to get higher than that, but they have a decent lead on the 11th team. So hopefully the Hawks can get into the playoffs and make some noise. They've been without a lot of players right now, especially Trae Young, but they've been fighting. So DeJounte has been going off. They beat the Celtics last Monday, and then they beat the Celtics Thursday in overtime, where DeJounte went Super Saiyan and really had an amazing game and put the team on his back and won the game, and was just really, really epic and awesome, and a great Hawks game to watch. So earlier in the week, they beat the Blazers, and then last night they lost to the Bucks. So maybe a little bit of a letdown after the Celtics game, but the Bucks game wasn't. It was fairly close, but the Bucks came out on top. I've seen the Bucks in person this year against the Hornets, and they're really a force to contend with, and just a well-oiled machine as a team. So maybe catching Hawks after a little bit of an excitement, and the Hawks are still injured. And I gotta say, the Hawks court was looking really cool, though. It was just noticing that I think it's their city version. There's no red in it. There's no yellow. It's all blue and black, and just a cool change of color pace, and just interesting. And I think a lot of times when they do stuff like that, it doesn't look good, but in this case, it looks really, really cool. So next week for the Hawks, they have playing the Bulls, the Pistons, the Mavs, and the Nuggets. So hopefully some wins in there, and just go Hawks. I don't know when the guys are going to come back. They've been missing a Okongwu. They've been missing Jalen Johnson. They've been missing Trae Young. And I think there's even a few more. Even a couple of the young guys are still missing. So I don't know. They've been holding on, and hopefully they can make the playoffs and, maybe just be competitive in the series. I think that would be fun if they can get into the playoffs, get past the play-in, and then be competitive in a series. I think that can be a pretty huge win for the Hawks this year, in my mind, of just setting reasonable expectations. And then my favorite team in the universe, and a team that has just started playing the last couple of days, the Atlanta Braves. The opening day got rained out, which was very disappointing, but I got to watch all the other baseball games, it's like spring has sprung. The best time of the year is baseball season. So super happy with that. Been watching a ton of baseball. Been watching the Braves get some wins up with the Phillies so far, so that's been really, really great to watch. Sean Murphy strained his oblique and batting, so that's been one of the unfortunate things to see. I hope he won't be out for too long, but just makes me really thankful for Travis d'Arnaud, and he's come in and started playing well. And then they brought up I think it's Travis Tromp is his name. He's backing up Travis right now, so just really sad to see Murph have an injury, I guess a non-contact injury too, so just swinging for the fences, I guess. Matt Olson's been starting really strong. Mike Harris has been going nuts. KK Strider had 8 Ks in one game to start it off, and they got the dub. And I even saw Marcel hit a bomb, and Ronald is just playing Ronald again, blasting singles up the middle, running his ass off on the bases, and just being the best player in the universe. And Ronald even has an article out right now in the Players Tribune titled, "I Mean No Harm, I Swear." And it's a really great look into the mind of Ronald Acuna, who you don't get to hear too much as an English speaker. So it was just a really cool take, and just a really cool article. He was my favorite player, so it was nice to get some insight. And, there were some even like tear-jerky moments in that article. And even thinking about it now, just really, really cool to get some insight into a great baseball player. And if you're a fan of him, I think you would appreciate it a whole lot. So go check that out. And the Braves are, they're back playing. They're going to play the Phillies today in a couple hours. And it's just been wonderful having the baseball back. I'm excited to see Chris Sale pitch today. Max Fried didn't do so great yesterday, but love some Max Fried, and just interested to see what the other pitchers do, like Ronaldo Lopez, and just excited to watch the bullpen and and all my favorite position players, and just the best time of the year, and even getting into some other teams as well. I just love watching baseball in general, so it's been fun to have games going on all day and things like that. So welcome back, baseball, best time of the year, and just going to watch a bunch of it today. So you're going to be hearing about a ton of baseball on this show for up until October, so just get prepared for that here in the Miscellaneous Talk section. And then just other plans, just talking about coming up. A friend of the show and friend of real life and famed guest or esteemed guest of the show one time was Sanfi. I think we might be getting together this week for a Dep Lewis freestyle show. Now I'm going to put that out onto all platforms so everyone can listen to it. The Dep Lewis freestyle show is usually exclusive to Patreon and behind a paywall, but I'm going to put this one out for free since Sanfi is the esteemed guest of the show and want everybody to hear it. So we're going to record a freestyle show, which is a podcast out of plan. And we have 2 topics going in. We're going to talk about fantasy baseball, which we're in a league together, and then just talk about the start of baseball in general. I'm a Braves fan. He's a Cardinals fan, and he's also a Braves fan just from living in the area as well. So that's our plan for this week. So look forward to that. I'm going to try to link up with Sanfi in the middle of the week and put that out. And that's going to wrap up this miscellaneous talk section. So I just wanted to throw that in there as a little exciting tidbit. So that's going to wrap up the miscellaneous talk section, talking about the worldwide world of sports. We talked about the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. And that's going to wrap up this entire show. So I just want to do some more promotional stuff again. If you wouldn't mind listening to this, and just please, if you could go do some of these things, I would really appreciate it, because it just helps me out in so many ways besides just listening. So please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow. $1 a month for the ground floor tier for the first 100 patrons is going on right now. With this tier, you will gain access to an additional podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show, which I just mentioned. A new episode is going to drop this week with favorite guest of the show, Sanvi. And this is a podcast without a plan and has a freestyle schedule. But it's a great way to get additional content and support the show. After the first 100 patrons, the regular price for this tier will begin. Ground floor tier pricing will never change and will gain access to all Dep Lewis Show Patreon content always. So it is an investment for your entertainment future and your entertainment present. So just thank you for any support on the Patreon. I just thank you for listening to the show every week or any moment or any minute and interacting with any of my content. I just really appreciate it. And just thank you. So I hope you have a great week out there in the world. I hope you watch a lot of sports. I hope you play a lot of video games. I hope you become rich. I hope you hit the lottery. I hope you, just have a great time. I hope you eat something good. And I hope everything, I know everything's not going to go, but I hope most things go your way this week. And that's my hope for you across the world. And just thank you for listening. And I'll be back next week for another episode of the Dep Lewis Show.